Okay, so we're going to be talking on how the listeners can get in contact with First Touch if they know someone that is grieving or if they themselves are grieving and need some help. Do you mind sharing a little bit how people can reach out to you guys?
So we are on social media platforms for Facebook and Instagram under First Touch Family. In addition, we have our website, which is www.firsttouchfamily.org. They can reach us via phone at 936-661-9236. If you're looking to request a blessing box to send to someone who has lost a child, that does have grief resources in it. It's got some personalized items and Bible. I think that's the most important part of that whole box, just to get some hope in families' hands. And there's a link on our website for that as well. And then throughout the year, we do different events to honor our families and honor our children. We've got some volunteer that has sent out personally, I think, over 600 um, birthday cards that are handwritten for our families.
Which
With
I've done the handwritten, and I love that. It's
yeah,
so special and it's so special. Yes.
We
and
got to go down there and help them with blessing boxes, or
Yeah.
you got to help them with blessing boxes. I got to go experience the back 40 with the mule.
Yeah, that was I went and worked and you went on with the mule. No, I loved it. It was so beautiful. And I loved how you guys prayed over the boxes before we sent them. I loved the care and the thoughtfulness in each box. We received one too for Isabella, and I'll put up a picture of the Bible you all gave us, and it has her name on it. And you almost don't want to use it because you just want to like keep it nice and
Perfect
pretty,
forever.
perfect forever. I loved all of the little thoughtfulness from the little handkerchiefs to the different books and things you put inside of them. And we are so grateful that you guys have allowed us to put in Bella Bear and some of those boxes for the children, that are left behind here. And so I'm so happy that I got to experience firsthand what you all do. And it's so beautiful. And
You know,
the
I think people don't realize too is that, and we do get calls from the funeral home where we go in and meet with families. And so it's not just our boxes that are going out across the country. A lot of what you don't see behind the scenes are just the intimate personal connections that we have with families as we try to meet their individual needs. I mean, we've done, I don't, hay for animals,
yeah.
electricity, we really, our desire in our heart is to be relevant and it be focused individual care. Uh,
Fulfilling a need for the family that's going to impact them the most. Yeah.
and advocacy, I mean, I've looked at funeral contracts where I know the county has paid for transportation because they ordered the autopsy, yet the family's being charged for it. So, anywhere from helping get slideshows together or just sitting in a room with a family that's making those decisions. That's a lot of what families don't see
Yeah.
behind that goes on behind the scenes of First Touch. Our blessing boxes, they're out front and center. And so it looks like the bulk of our ministry, but really and truly our ministry is just stepping into those spaces.
And what I
Right.
think is really beautiful too, Chrissy, I wanted to bring up is those notes, the handwritten notes. There, those were grieving mamas who were writing those notes.
Right.
I know I am, and a lot of the ladies that were there that day with me, they all had lost children, or they were a grandparent or something of a child that was lost. And it's so beautiful to see them being a blessing to someone else. I find it so helpful when you're helping someone else. It's like you're helping yourself, and you don't realize that God can use you even in your brokenness. And I remember watching one of the moms writing a note to one of the families in the recent floods in Texas, and she was crying. She started crying because the thought of, what she herself had went through and she knew what these parents were experiencing. We all kind of just took a moment, and it was just it's just beautiful to see other moms doing something for other moms that are going through this exact same journey.
I'm
So
glad you
thank you for letting that happen.
brought that up. I didn't realize it until Chrissy threw out a number to me the other day. Chrissy's obviously the quarterback. She's calling the plays and she's throwing the touchdown passes. She does that perfectly. There's dinner or a luncheon coming up, and there's going to be 100 volunteers that have worked alongside this ministry to help get everything done behind the scenes. And I didn't realize that there's going to be 100 people that have helped her through this process. And I think that people that have experienced loss want to help. A lot of times they don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
This gives a lot of them a way to accomplish that.
You
Yeah.
That
know,
that's along the lines too of we didn't know how many families were. I'm not a numbers girl, like I am not tracking numbers. The churches want numbers, donors want numbers. I'm having to learn this, but I didn't realize until I printed all the names of our kids back in May how many families we had served. Like I had no idea that we had touched hundreds and hundreds of families. It was to see the sign, was like, oh wow, because
yeah,
I feel like the Lord has just had us just in that do the next best thing. Just like I was telling myself in early grief, and I tell my families in early grief in ministry, just do the next best thing with an open hand, to let the Lord do what he does because
And
that
not everybody is called to maybe start a foundation or a ministry, but it's even the small things. These ladies that came in and helped write notes to other mamas or helping fill blessing boxes. We have some of Bella's friends and mothers come and help us do Bella Bears and get them prepared for. I mean, even it doesn't always have to be a big foundation or a big ministry. God uses, I mean, the hands and feet, right? We need all of it. And
right.
so just volunteering time like these ladies do with you guys, that is giving of themselves. And in that, they find healing.
They do. And it can be that your child's legacy may be the touch that you have standing in the grocery store.
Yeah.
With the mama that's broken in front of you that just
Mhm.
has a breakdown and you're like, "Are you okay?" And she shares, I've lost my child." And it happens over and over again. And that's enough. You're
Yeah.
right. Doesn't have to look like a big ministry.
Right.
But I do think that just like with our y'all, I mean, you volunteered, with the ministry, and we're so thankful for that, and all that you guys have given back through Isabella's life and legacy, and the Bella Bears, and being able to carry those bears was such an honor to carry those down to the hill country when the floods happened, and just be able to hand those as a you know just to say like you're loved and you're seen to these siblings. There's an impact there, but you're right. The impact doesn't have to be on
Right.
that scale. It's
yes. Something that you said earlier, Blake, made me think of this question, and I've asked a couple different people this, and it'll be for both of you. But what, not just to the parent that is grieving, what advice would you give to the friend of somebody that has lost their child?
Mm.
Because friends, they're not going through it personally. And in this situation, we found that you can't fix it and you don't know what to say. I've had people they don't know what to say, so they disappear. They are crickets. Um, what would you say to the person coming alongside of a grieving father, mother, something like that?
Don't disappear.
Yeah.
Your lack of being there is noticed. Don't look for something to say. In fact, the less you say, probably the better. Just be present. Just touch them. Just hold them. put
Yeah.
your arm around them and cry with them because there's nothing you can say that's gonna change anything. One of our friends at the funeral, I'll never forget, we were standing in front of Chris's casket and people came along and he shook my hand and he said, "I'm sorry, but I have no words." That's the only thing that I remember that someone said to me at Chris's funeral that made an impact.
Yeah.
"Sorry, I have no words." And he was true. There's nothing that anybody can say, but if they're not there, that's noticed. People are afraid. You don't need to be afraid. But if you're there and let them know that you love them, that's all you need to do.
Mhm.
Okay.
Keep asking, but one of the things about grief is that, I'm a stick my foot in the door kind of girl. Like, I'll stick my foot in the door and let you slam the door on it a million times. And then after Chris died, I didn't have the energy to put my foot in that door. And the Lord removed some things that I realize now were holding me back from the fullness of what He had for me and what He had for Blake and what He had for our family. And so the beauty in some of that loss is that the Lord uses that to open doors for relationships that are rich, just like our connection with you guys.
Yeah.
Um, there might not have been space for that if I had held on to some other relationships that maybe weren't so as enriching, as helpful. And there was a lady who's now a dear friend of mine. She barely knew me from the church, but she would show up. I may have told y'all this story. She would show up and I mean, we're 30 minutes. We're in the middle of nowhere, right? You don't just show up to walk on my road. I mean, hogs, coyotes, all the things. You don't just show up out here. Shotguns.
All the good things in life.
Yeah. So,
Just like,
Yeah.
but she would, she would show up and she'd say, "I'm walking your road today. If you feel like getting up, and if you don't, that's okay." And I might answer and I might not. But her consistency of doing that had me getting up. Some days we walked 6 miles and never said a word, and that was okay. And some days we walked 6 miles and I cried for 6 miles, or we talked about something or nothing. And that probably was the greatest impact in the early grief. And that's my desire for all of us in ministry, that the Lord would continue to raise an army. I mean, we don't have a personal touch with everybody, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
you can only give so much of yourself, but the Lord would continue to raise an army through these ministries, that there is a personal touch for everybody.
Mhm.
Um, that can meet meet someone on the road for a walk.
yeah, if it's not you, then it's somebody else. And
That's right.
if not them, then somebody else.
That's right.
We
Yeah.
also learned the hard way that there was a couple of friendships that weren't healthy,
Mhm.
and that was revealed to us, and those friendships were severed.
Yeah.
Uh, there was some dynamics after Chris's passing, and it was sad, but those friendships needed to be terminated. It was
Yeah.
hard, but it was loud and clear that Lord spoke to us that those friendships needed to go away.
Mm.
Yeah, I've found that not everybody can come alongside you. Not everybody can handle, I'll speak for myself. Not everybody in the early time could handle my grief, my thoughts, my anger, somebody called me selfish. And if I'm selfish in my grief and you can't understand that, and I'm sorry that you feel that way, and we'll maybe revisit this and maybe we won't. But that just it baffled me, like how I could be called selfish in this situation of losing my daughter or losing on earth my daughter. It made no sense to me, and I couldn't wrap my brain around that. And I said, "All right, well, we're gonna chalk that one off and just move on."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's
Yeah.
it's hard, but
It is.
self-preservation came into play on that one. So
Right. Well, I mean, the Lord, not everybody is meant to walk alongside you, like you said.
Right.
Some people are in your lives for seasons, and we are in a different season now. We are different than what we were before. And sometimes you need those people that can be in that season with you.
That's right.
And it's okay. It's not, you know, putting anyone down or anything, and they can't walk it with you, then that's okay.
like Blake said, not everything is personal. It's
Yeah.
just sometimes you just can't handle it, and or you're not willing to handle it,
Mhm.
and so you have to go your separate ways.
But God brings great people that
Yeah.
you can walk alongside, like you and Blake and
It may be just for a season, because we've seen that too, where the Lord has brought people into our life for a season in ministry. And I mean, this is a hard space. We know that.
yeah, very
And
hard.
not everybody's called into it. The beautiful thing is though, is that the Lord never feels that way.
Right.
He never leaves us and he never forsakes us, even though it feels like we had been left and forsaken.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like for a very long time.
Yeah.
I call it, it's like you feel like a musty sheet has been thrown over you. And it's a very long time till you realize that it's the Lord has taken a clean sheet that's crisp and thrown it over you in
Yeah.
grief, that shroud of protection. But it's, in grief from the human side, it feels and smells like a musty, nasty, stinky sheet. You
Like
know,
my dog.
yeah, like your dog takes
Yeah.
takes a while, to get there. But there are the we all have gifts. The Lord gives all of us a gift, and even I think in friendships, you start to see that where those gifts are, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. And it may even be a season that we have found even through since grief, we've had people come in and out. They were okay with a certain phase, but now they're not. And
Yeah.
that's okay. But
Mhm.
I had friends, we were going to do a fundraiser that the Lord shut down. But I had friends say, I will send you money, but I'm not coming because it's sad. And I'm like, wait, it's not going to be a sad evening. Like, I don't know how to convey this any different to you. I mean, you go
Yeah.
to, things that support cancer and things, those are sad. Like,
Mhm.
but people, when it comes to the death of a child, like if we talk about it, it can happen to us.
Yeah. One of the mamas you sent me told me that she feels like she had some neighbors she went to talk to, and as soon as they found out she had gone through child loss, it's kind of like she had the plague.
Yeah.
Like they just took off, and she was like, "Whoa!" Like, well, I don't know. If they feel like maybe we're contagious, or
Yeah.
Well,
it's
again,
very
it's
weird.
it's not knowing what to say. How do you interact with this person who um, is going through that? I have a couple neighbors here, and the gentlemen they've always been very nice and cordial, and we have conversations, in passing. Um, and then when they found out that our daughter, was in the accident, they both just honest, I don't know what to. They were those I don't know what to say, and I am sorry that you are going through that. Um, but every time I see them now, they're, hey, how you doing? You know, and it's they know they know that I'm going through something. They, see me outside or something. They've seen me outside crying, walking around just talking to the Lord. But um, they will be brave enough to say, you know, how's it going? And I don't have the words, but if you ever need anything, I'm here. If you want to talk about the cars or dogs or guns or whatever it may be.
Anything other than sadness.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We don't do a good job of, we've talked a little bit about cloaking and the spiritualism, but I think that we have to learn to not only lean into the goodness of God, but also teach ourselves and teach others how to also tap into the
Right.
human emotions of what happens in grief.
Mm. Yeah.
Other
Oh,
countries do it great. other countries do grief so well. The
Mhm.
United States does not do grief well.
Yeah, well, we don't do it at
Mm,
all. We just
no,
we kinda
no, we're
push
too
everything down.
we're too entitled. It can't happen to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a whole nother podcast in which I would love to have that conversation with you. That would be a great podcast. Well, we're going to wrap this up because we don't want to take any more of your time. We know you guys have things to do. So I have one final question for you guys. What are your dreams for the future of the foundation? What do you feel like the direction God's maybe calling you in the future?
We're really praying right now about him opening the door for us. We feel like the land that we're on, he's given us for a purpose of ministry.
It is a very beautiful piece of
So, but we do feel like the Lord is calling us in that direction. We don't know what that looks like financially. So we're praying about that. Obviously, if it's his will, he'll give the provision for it, so that we can do more respite and for people like yourself who are in ministry who just need a place to unplug and be with people who get it. Um, and then also for our families who, have lost a child that maybe they just need that family time, or maybe we do need to come together as 6 or 12 and be able to heal in community. So I think long term, that's what we're praying about and looking at, praying about the provision for that and I mean, it's going to take a miracle, right? It costs
Right.
Yeah.
money to
Yeah.
build the way that the vision that the Lord has given us. And then just continue to meet, what does it look like to grow the community in such a way that we have linked arms and can continue to provide individual support and purpose for our families. Like you said, they heal when they are giving back.
Yeah.
And how do we provide that avenue for them to heal and give back?
Yeah, if your future plans are anything like what you guys have done thus far, I am 100% confident that it would be first class.
Yeah.
Just in the attention to detail and the
Mhm.
heart that goes into everything that you guys have done. It's a joint effort. So I mean, he'll give you credit and you give him credit, and that's how this goes. But it's watching what you guys have done and seeing firsthand what you guys have done.
Mhm.
It is definitely first class, and I probably expect more chandeliers, something like that, because
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna have to look like a glamping lifestyle.
You're
I
gonna
say.
but it's with the, like I said, the attention to detail and the heart. I see nothing but amazing things. So
Yeah, I definitely can see your space for people. We spent a weekend with you guys and we left feeling so refreshed. We felt like we could conquer the world. We
Yeah.
felt like we could move mountains. We literally felt so good after just spending a couple days with you both.
now, mind you, once they got on the 45 north, about 2 hours,
It quickly
it
fleeting.
it
It was very
diminished a little bit,
fleeting.
but nothing to do with you, all to do with Texas drivers. So,
But it was so I can definitely see that being a place of peace and serenity for others. And yeah, we're going to
and
be praying for that for you.
again, if somebody wants to look at your website, what is it again?
It is www.firsttouchfamily.org.
Okay.
Awesome.
We're also going to have put it up at the very end of the podcast. We'll put up your contact information so people can reach out to you and to give and to support.
Is there
It takes money to do these things. So
is
There
there a
is a link.
on there?
There is a link, and the truth is that we're in that tension of we're growing so fast.
Mhm.
We're looking like, Lord, you're going to have to continue to provide and provide that provision, and or not.
Yeah.
We're also very open handed that
Mhm.
this may just be a season for us, and we also want to be open handed that if the Lord were to say, like, no, we're going to shut down the ministry and take you a different direction, that we are also okay with that. This is not our ministry. It's not about us. And really it started because of Chris's legacy, but it's really not about him either.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
about Jesus Christ and the foundation of hope, and the fact that he died on the cross, and that he didn't choose his mama to put on that cross. He chose his kid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he gets it.
He does. He really does. Well, thank you both for being on today. We're so grateful that you came on, and um
Thank
We
you
love
for
I,
you guys. We
I
love
can't wait to go back to your house.
Yeah, you're welcome.
welcome back anytime.
Yeah. And so we're like, you know, we have strangers come through. Blake will be like, what are you doing? Oh, this weekend we have such and such coming from wherever. He's like, I don't think you've met them. I'm like, I've talked to them.
We've been friends for, I don't know, 24 minutes. So I know them very well.
I don't think Chrissy's ever met a stranger. So she's just got a great heart for this, and God put you exactly where you need to be, Chrissy. And we're so grateful for you both.
We love you guys, and we're
We
cheering
love
you
you
on.
too.
Whatever we can do to support you. And we're here.
Well,
We love
thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
guys.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so we're going to say bye to the people for now. But bye, people.
Bye, people.